about culture shock and homesickness and the weird emotional roller coasters of traveling that you never really quite expect to experience. I'm studying abroad in Spain right now and it's great, and I've been here about a month and we have had 2 weeks of photography classes and 2 weeks of printmaking classes. And we're just about to start on our final project, which is a project of choice, and everything is great and perfect and wonderful. And after our final projects are done, we are in Madrid for about a week and a half, and then I'm home. And it's really weird, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I'm already past halfway through my time abroad, and I don't know how I feel about it. I have a lot of weird feelings about it. Do I want time to slow down? Do I want to just speed up? We don't really know. It depends on the day. Prior to this trip, I had never been out of the country before, excluding southern Canada when I was really young, because I was really young and I don't remember it, and southern Canada is a lot like Seattle. Nor had I been away from home for longer than 2 weeks. In fact, I think that the longest I had ever been away from my home was a week and a half at a time, ever. And those trips have always been to English-speaking places with full cell phone coverage. Never really done a summer camp. I don't really ever get the opportunity to travel or vacation around. So, I mean, I live on campus, like where I go to school, but that's an hour's drive away from my hometown, and I'm surrounded by friends, and I can go back to my family whenever I feel like it or whenever I need. So this has been a big change for me. Spain and Washington aren't like that much different from each other, so for me to be saying that I am experiencing culture shock or have experienced culture shock is a little first world problem. But I've never been away from my home country before, so I've never experienced this aspect of life before, and basically traveling is weird. I flew into Barcelona on September 22nd, and my program started 2 days later, and we basically spent 6 days going to museums all day, every day, and it was really exhausting, and it was just like, it was this blur of like going to all of these places, and so it didn't really feel like I was studying abroad quite yet. It just sort of like felt like this extended vacation. It was really good for me. I mean, like, the exposure to all of this amazing artwork was like incredible for me and my creativity, but it wasn't really real life that I was in Spain yet. By the time I hit the 2 to 3 week mark of being abroad, including the week that I was in London, we were just starting to move into our temporary apartments in Leon, which is where I am at right now. And I had just spent like the past 2.5 weeks traveling and living out of my suitcase, and I was really, really pumped to be able to settle down and not have to worry about the next time that I am taking my heavy suitcases onto a bus or a plane, and to be able to hang my clothes and spread my things out into a room. I was so excited. Like, I was feeling pretty good. And then the homesickness hit. One of my nearest and dearest daily routines is to check my phone at bedtime, like right before I go to sleep, and then again when I wake up in the morning. And I don't have a phone plan right now. My phone is on airplane mode for the entire time that I'm abroad, and I'm just using Wi-Fi whenever I can because I have a smartphone. Our apartments don't have Wi-Fi. And what I didn't realize while I was in places that had 24-hour Wi-Fi, internet, whatever, is that when I was using my phone to check the internet before bed or when I wake up in the morning, it was like I was there, I was back home, and it was a really good way to cope with being away from home, being so many miles away from home. I could just check my messages and send sweet nothings to all of my loved ones back at home. And I told my friends and family that I'd be MIA for about 8 hours while we got to Leon and settle in. And now I had to live with this realization that I had no way of contacting them to let them know that I had gotten here safe and sound and that I wasn't dead or dying. I ended up being able to message them the next day, but I was just so sad and distraught that night. I was like, I can't message anyone. How am I going to fall asleep? The next week or so was spent in this distraught state of anxiety as I adapted to really, really limited internet time. And so, I mean, I got used to it, but I was just really sad and lonely, and it was just bad news. What ended up happening next was just this really weird flux and flow of emotions. On top of being really anxious about the lack of the internet, I was getting hella homesick. And everybody experiences homesickness differently. Some of the people were missing their pets or their family, or they just wanted to be able to hug their friends, or they were just missing the general Seattle atmosphere. I don't know, everybody's different. And for me, it was just the dumbest, like the smallest things that I had taken for granted in Seattle. Like these smallest things that I would have never paid attention to otherwise. Like I would be walking down the street and I'd be looking at the sidewalks and I'd just be like, oh, I miss American sidewalks. Or like the crosswalk signal is different here than it is in the States. And there's this hill that I pass by every day that looks almost exactly like the hill on which my hometown resides. And it was just really super sad because I was missing all of these small things and I just missed Seattle so much. The anxiety passed and pure, bitter, venomous anger started setting in. There are a few things that are like just a little tiny bit different and like obviously in Spain as compared to Seattle. For example, like the driving is different. The cars tend to be a little bit more reckless and like care a little bit less about pedestrians. And all of the grocery stores are smaller. They don't refrigerate their eggs. Just little things like that. I was walking home one day and I was feeling all distraught and anxious and sad about internet and being here, and I was like, I want to go home right now. And I had to cross this stupid roundabout that I have to cross every day going to class, and the cars are really reckless, and I was just walking on this crosswalk. I had to wait for a car to let me go, and I was just so mad. I was like, Spanish people just don't even fucking care. And I was just silently venting to myself on the way to this grocery store. And I have to buy some groceries, so I go into this little tiny grocery store and I'm just like, there's nothing for me to eat here. There's like literally one person working in this entire grocery store and they're on the checkout stand, and I'm like, what? How can there just be one person in the grocery store? I don't understand this. I'm all riled up. I'm mad about absolutely nothing and also everything. And I go to pick up some unrefrigerated eggs, and I pick one up and one of the eggs was broken. I'm just like standing there staring at this carton of eggs. I'm just staring at this egg and I'm just like, Spanish people just don't care. Was anybody going to check on this egg? Was anybody going to check to see if like any of these eggs were broken? These eggs aren't even refrigerated. This isn't even sanitary. Nobody fucking cares here. I'm just so emotional about this egg. So I made the decision to buy vitamin B pills for mental stress, and another week or so passed and I had pretty much gotten all of the rage out of my system. This new change occurred inside of me. Suddenly everything about Leon like literally actually looked prettier to me. Like everything just felt better. But like I was looking at the sidewalks, I was walking on the street again and I was looking at the sidewalks and I was like, these are actually really pretty sidewalks. There's nothing wrong with these sidewalks. This is fine. And like I walked into town and town was so gorgeous and I was like, God, I'm experiencing culture every day. I like reveled in like every Spanish conversation I was having, and I was like, there's so many opportunities here and I'm learning so much and I'm so excited about my entire life here. I don't really know. I think internally I just sort of like, I just had to have that, you know, I had to have a time, and then I just sort of internally accepted that I am going to be here for a long amount of time and got over it and moved on with my life. Also, I was able to find peanut butter, so I'm okay now. Tastes like home. Sorry it's been a while. Kind of been busy being in Spain. I will make another video as soon as I'm able, and I love you guys and wish me luck, and I will see you guys whenever I see you next. Okay, bye.